Okay, so we're live. Um, welcome to my channel. And if you've been here, welcome back. We are going to continue some of our lessons. One sec, hold on. We started working on learning how to draw from the basics, and we're learning from this book. You Can Draw in 30 Days by Mark Kistler. So I did read the lessons ahead of time to know, well, to have an idea of what I am doing. I am not a professional. This is not a tutorial or instructional video, live stream. It's just me kind of working through this book that my brother lent me to have fun with it and kind of learn the basics, even though I kind of have been drawing and making art for a while. I decided to just do it. My brother lent it to me. It seems like a good book, and it's never a bad time to go back to the basics and learn some of it. So, with that being said, we have done, I think this is our third video, so this would be our third episode. And we have done, the first video was 2 lessons because the first couple of lessons were pretty basic lessons. And so we're not, the second video we did 1 lesson because that lesson was a little bit longer and it required a lot more work into it. But today's lesson, it's kind of going back to some different basics, but still basics, because we were working with spheres last time. So I'll show you guys some of the stuff that we kind of started with. So our very first lesson was this one. This page is 2 lessons, so it was pretty basic stuff. We're just working with spheres. Did an apple, did 2 balls, and then 2 tennis balls. So that was the basic stuff, and then we worked more with spheres on the following lesson, which got a little bit more intricate. So that was pretty awesome, and I really enjoyed doing this one. Like, I had a lot of fun doing this one. And so now that we're done with the spheres and doing the basics when it comes to that, we are going to be learning how to do cubes. And cubes is something that you use in your drawings for a lot of things. So when I was reading the book, I'll read a little bit of it. So it does say, I'll read the very first paragraph. So it's kind of, I like the way that the author actually writes, because he's a little silly and funny sometimes too. I'll just say real quick to all of you joining on here, hi Ragad, hi Yashwardan. Where are you from? I am originally from Colombia, but I live in Canada. Where are you from? Yeah, I'm from Colombia, live in Canada. Hi Frank Warler, thanks for joining me. Hi Erdem, you are beautiful, thank you. That's very nice of you. Abdullah Jude, hi, hello, welcome. So we're going to be learning how to draw today. I'm very excited for it. So yeah, I'll read the paragraph real quick. So to the start of this lesson, so this is lesson 4. Had enough of spheres for a while? Let's move on to the all-important, extremely versatile, always a crowd pleaser, cube. The cube is so versatile that you will be using it to draw boxes, houses, buildings, bridges, airplanes, vehicles, flowers, fish. Fish? Yes, a cube will even help you draw a fine finned fish in 3D, along with helping you draw faces, flowers, and all, well, just about anything you can think of or see in the world around you. So let's draw a cube. So that's how this lesson starts off, and how the author kind of tries to explain how important cubes are. So basically everything that we do draw in life, and everything that we see in our reality, everything that we can imagine, and everything that we can put on paper, it's all made of shapes. So that's why the book is kind of teaching us the basics on how to work with shapes. So we started off with the spheres, and now we're moving on to the cubes. And then after that, we're just gonna keep learning on how to stack it together and use the different the different what's the word I'm using? Oh my God, shapes. Sorry. And use the different shapes to create different things. So yeah, so I think we can kind of get started. If anybody has any questions, do let me know. Just a quick reminder to those that are new here and maybe don't know. I do host events on Zoom, and they're a little bit about embracing our artistic side. It's kind of like a mental fitness where you get together with our little community that we have, and you get to create. We listen to some music, we do some body movement, we do meditation, we do a little bit of writing, and then we create an art piece and then just kind of discuss and share with each other. Obviously, if you're shy, you don't have to participate, you don't have to have your cameras on or audio or any of that. We do have a chat room, so if that's something that kind of pulls your interest, you're welcome to join. Like I said, it's 100% for free thanks to our donors. I am able to host it for free every single month. And if you want to sign up, the sign up sheet, the form is in the description below. So feel free to check that out. You can check out my website to kind of get a better idea of what my business is. It's called Reflect and Create, and what we do and why we do what we do. Because my hope is to help people embrace art more and learn about the mental, physical, and health benefits of art, whether it's music, whether it's movement, whether it's drawing, whether it's writing, whatever it is in the arts that you do, it has a lot of benefits. It's really good for you. So I'll just say a quick hi to everyone that has joined Sans, and then we'll get started on the drawing. Akash says, hey, beautiful girl. Marta Cortez, hello. Virayeshyar Farshad, hi, thanks for joining. Kik, hi. And Marilyn, welcome. So thank you guys for being here. Feel free to chat and ask any questions you might have through the process of this. And I'm just going to switch the camera over so you guys have a better view of the actual paper that we're going to be working on. And then I will also put a little bit of background music for us so that it's a little bit more relaxing. Feel free to follow along. You can draw or you can just watch and just hang out, ask questions, chat with us. If the music is too loud or not loud enough, just let me know, and then we'll fix that up. Okay? Oh, sorry, you guys. The setup was not completely ready. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see that. So I'm gonna start on this side, and then hopefully we'll get to doing both lessons. But if not, we will continue on next week with the lessons. Hold on a sec. Let's do this a little more comfortable. Okay. How's that? Are we good with that? You guys can see okay? So we're starting off with, this is lesson 4. It's going to be lesson 4. And what's the date? Today is April 10th. Okay. And so the way that the book explains and helps us kind of figure out how to do the cube in a 3D form. It starts us off with circles, so we're gonna dot. So we do a dot here, and then right across we do another dot here. And then it tells us to put your finger in the middle of those two dots, and then put a dot right above and a dot right below. And it very specifically tells us that in order to make it look like it calls it, I'll give you the actual term. He calls it foreshortened. Foreshortened. So if we do it this way, it's gonna give us the dimension, the depth of it by connecting the dots this way. All right, so I'll give you guys an example of if you separate the dots too much. Hold on, I have a napkin here, I'll show you guys. So this is what happens if you don't do it that way. So if you do the two dots and then the top ones are too far away, let's say you put it here and then you put it here, it's not going to give you that same depth. It's going to make it look like a flat square, right? So just make sure that these two are closer together, like we did over here. So you see like the difference between those two shapes. So this is what we're going for. Monster in the house watching. Hi, Monster WB. Thanks for joining us. So happy you can make it out today. Okay, so we just started with the basics. This dot technique is very important to get that 3D effect and to get it the most accurate as possible. So we got that, and then now and like you could also make it even closer, so it gives it more depth. I think this is good. I'm happy with that. And now we are going to do this line. We're gonna follow this line as our reference line. Well, actually, sorry, we'll do these lines first. So these lines are reference for these vertical lines is going to be the edge of our paper. So let's make sure that we follow that line to make it straight, right? So our reference is that, so we'll go straight down. And so as long as it's aligning to the edge, you can see if it's straight or not. I think mine is going a little bit that way, so I'll fix it a little here. I could use a ruler, but I want to do freehand. Okay, so we have that, and then we'll do this side over here. So yeah, we follow that, and then we do the same with the middle. Make sure that you keep it straight down. And so this line, the middle line, is going to be a little longer than your side lines. And then the side lines are about the same, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know why I can't see the chat properly here. Okay, so now this is where we follow. So reference is super important. So now we're gonna follow our next reference is gonna be this top line. So we're just gonna do a line that goes exactly that way. So we're not gonna go up, we're not gonna go down. Obviously you can just try and connect those, but if you try and do that, you'll know if this line needs to be longer or not. So we follow this line and we do that same line here. So these two lines should be pretty similar to get the best effect. And then you do the same thing with the other side. You follow this line and you do the same line down here. I know that cubes is a very common thing to draw and most people know how to draw them, but we are starting from the basics, so we want to make sure that we don't skip this important part. Like, I've always kind of known how to do cubes, but I've never done it this way. I've never used the dots, I've never used the reference thing, and so I want to see how big of a difference it makes when you follow these very specific steps. Okay, so Monster WB asked, I was curious why you didn't love your penguin. Did the paper get a bit messy up with the multiple changes? No. So the reason I didn't really love my penguin was because I felt like I usually take much longer to do my art pieces, especially charcoal. And so I felt like I had a limited amount of time. So I felt like if I would have gone longer, I would have ended up liking it by just adding more layers and making it darker. And so I think that's why I didn't like it, because I feel like it's just not finished. I did like it, I just didn't love it because I feel like it's still missing stuff. But I didn't feel like it was messy at all. I felt like everything I added was what I wanted to add to it, and I was happy with how it was coming along. I just would have spent more time on it. And truthfully, like, I still added a little bit more after we were done our live stream. I kind of fixed up one of the legs that I felt like it looked too short. Fixed that up, added a little bit more dark to it. But I didn't want to add way too much because I just wanted it to be like a live stream drawing, right? Okay, so here we're doing the shading. So we learned that in the first lesson. So we have our light sources over here. Always have to pick a light source. So if you guys are doing it as well, you can pick your light source and put it over here and then do the shading on this side. So in the book, it tells you to make sure that you follow this line. Follow this line. Like, if you shade down, it's not going to look good. It has to follow that line. And you can also add some shading to the back of the cube to make it darker from the rest of the sides. In the book, he doesn't really blend it, but I really do enjoy the way blending shows on paper. So I'm doing the blending, even though the book does not call for it. So yeah, I think that's basically why I didn't love the penguin, because it's not done. But I am challenging myself to draw with a limited amount of time, because I feel like when there's little challenges like that, it does improve my skills, even though each piece is not going to come out super great. I think it's not about making all drawings and art pieces that you enjoy. It's just about making. It's just about making them, and the more you make it, the better you get. So I think that's kind of what I'm going for with these live streams. I'm not trying to make picture perfect art pieces. It's more about practicing and learning and getting to see my mistakes and learn from them by having the actual visual that I can rewatch later if I want to. And also, you guys can learn along with me. Maybe I do techniques a little different than other people do, and then you guys can learn from that, or you guys can tell me your techniques and I can try them out. So that's kind of what I'm going for with these drawing live streams. Okay, so now that we're done, so this is basically it for the first cube. After it tells you to just do more of these. So I'll do one more. I'll do a smaller one. And then we'll make it much tighter here. So we'll go like that, go like that. It's a bit of a shorter cube. Perfect. And so yeah, if you guys want to keep practicing a little bit more, you can draw more of them. That's what the book kind of suggests. And so now we're gonna do a couple of like little bonus things that the book is asking us to do. So now we got that basic going on, and now it wants us to draw 3 cubes. So we'll do one over here. Okay, so we got our first one, and then it wants us to do one over here. So how are you guys doing? Are you guys working on any special projects? Okay, we've got that one, and then we'll do our third one over here. Get a little bigger. Okay, this is not centered. Hold on. Remember, it's got to be in the middle. Okay, so we've got our 3 cubes. And then now we'll follow the next steps. Monster WB says, I am building a visual flowchart for a patent that I am writing. Visual flowchart. Okay, nice. That's exciting work. Okay, so next we're going, so it wants to teach us kind of how to do as if we're wrapping a present. So we'll start off, it tells us to start off over here, so we're gonna go in the middle. So we'll go in the middle of all these lines, so we'll start off here, do a line here, then we'll do a line here. Okay, so like as if you're wrapping a present. And then after, it asks us to do the exact same thing from this side, so we'll go this way, and then we will go this way. So basically you're doing a line in the middle. Just remember the angles. Okay, so we got our first box all boxed up. And then last but not least, we're gonna do the exact same thing in the middle. Like we're basically doing a cross in like each of the sides. That's another way that you can kind of remember how to do it. You're just crossing it, and then, oh no, hold on, it's not very centered. Gotta make sure it's centered, and this line has to, this is your reference line, so we still have to follow this line, right? To make sure that it's nice and straight and in the middle. There we go. And then this one, the reference are those side ones. I don't think I followed it all that great. Doesn't feel the way I want it to feel. Something's off. Hold on. Feels a little off. I think maybe I should have made this a little longer. Hold on. It feels off for me, so I just want to fix it. Okay. Maybe this one wasn't straight. Does that feel better? Yeah, I think so. This one, maybe this way. No. Gotta follow that. Okay. That feels a little better. So I'm gonna redo the middle stuff here. And so we started off this, we'll connect that here. And then we've got this one lower. There we go, that's what was throwing me off. Okay, that feels a little bit better from my angle at least. I'm gonna fix up this here. Follow that line, and then follow this line. Oh no. There we go. Just trying to connect it, like I'm putting my arm around the tripod to try and do this. Okay. That became a little bit more complicated than I was expecting it. So I apologize. Okay, so the next cube, still I don't know, I feel like it should be more, there's something off about it and I can't figure out what it is. If you guys know, please let me know. There's something off about this. I'm thinking that maybe this line should have been longer. but I'm not sure. Okay, let's go on to the next one. I'm thinking that I'm gonna redo this because maybe I'm just starting off without a good reference, and that's important. So about the middle would be here, so we'll go here, and then we'll go here. Is that better? Longer, shorter. Maybe that's why it had thrown me off. That feels so much better. I think this should have just been longer. Okay, that feels much better. Now let's see if it does actually end up being better. Okay, for the next one, what it wants us to do is basically use the wrapping around technique or do different stuff. Kind of have fun with it. I'm gonna do the gift wrapping option that it gave us here. Also this one. Okay. So we'll do that. No. Gotta connect it. Okay. I don't know if it's too small for you guys to be able to see that, but so I did the gift wrap. I think I'm better doing the cube. This gift wrapping technique is really hard for me. Hopefully you guys are doing better than I am. Okay. Maybe next time I'll use a ruler. Okay, and then the last one, I'll just still do the same thing that they did in the book. So okay. Same thing. Okay, that feels much better. Okay, this one is much better. So yeah, the more you do it, the better it gets. This side is so hard. It's because I have to bend my arm so weird. Hold on, you guys. I'm going to do it from an angle that works for me. Because the camera for me is in the way. So this way. I have to do that here, right? Okay. Sorry, I had to switch it up because the angle is just messing with me. So I think it's just the angle. Okay, so this is kind of what they have in the book, and then he filled it in with like, it's basically like checker, black and white boxes. If you guys are doing the lessons with me, you can have fun with it. It suggests in the book to just play around with this cube idea and add whatever details you want to add to it. I'm just mostly adding what it is showing in the book, because you guys don't have a reference of ideas, so I want to include those here. Okay, so this is it. Nothing crazy. And now we can move on. So for the next kind of like challenge or bonus thing that it wants us to do is to grab a box, like a shoe box or whatever kind of box you want to do, and put it in front of you and draw it. And like try to do it from like a top angle. So I'm gonna do like I don't have a shoebox that I can use as a reference, so we will just do, I have this thing, gonna see like some rectangular thing. We'll try and do that. So I guess I'm going to actually use a ruler now. And then see if we have a little bit of better results when it comes to drawing this. Okay, so we'll do, oh, this looks different than the way they drew it. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna draw that. I'm just gonna draw, hold on. It's a little different. So, that way. I don't know how to do the dot thing. So I guess it'd be, it's different than a cube because it's a rectangular situation. I don't even know, you guys. I'm confused. Especially because it has a thing here. Okay. Maybe just for this, I won't use the same guide as the cube. I'm a little frustrated because I don't know, I don't know what to do. trying to draw this thing. It's quite long. So I'm just gonna draw the different lines and then try to connect them. So we have the top one, which will be a little shorter, and then the front will be longer. Back. Has like this curvy thing here. That's what I'm trying to figure out how to do. And here is where it connects. Okay, so I guess we finally did it. It took some figuring out, for sure. And then there's the where it opens, there's like the middle here. That's kind of where it's gonna, you open it up, so this, you open it up like that. and then you can shade it. I guess I picked a little bit more of a complicated shape than just a shoebox. Like I said, if you guys are doing it yourselves at home, just grab a shoebox and draw the shoebox. Have that as your reference. I didn't have one, so pick the first thing I saw. But you know what? When you challenge yourself, you learn. So still a little wonky. I mean, not gonna lie, I know it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. I could have done this line a little bit more centered, but I think it's fine. Make it a little bit thicker too. Make it look like it's more centered than it actually is. Okay, and so the shading, where would the shading come? So we can do our light source. We'll make our light source here at the top. So our light source is gonna be over here. Light. And so we'll shade the front, or, you know? So we shade this way. Oh, and I forgot, with this stuff, we're supposed to do a horizon line. Kind of gives it that illusion. So we'll do the horizon line. Yeah, no, I don't think doing the two lines actually helped. But just the one, we'll keep the one horizon line there. Okay. Oops. And now we will shade the front or back. Maybe I should have done it this way. A lot less work, but it's okay. We're in it. We're committed. Maybe move it that way. Sorry, the camera's not supposed to be moving. And so this side will also make it not that dark, but just give it a little shade here in the back. Okay, there you go, you guys. We did it. This is honestly literally lesson 4, and we're done. The only other thing that it kind of asks you to do is with these, like, you just play around the way we did with the spheres. You can do more stuff and stack them up if you want to. I'm not gonna do that. I think that I prefer to go on to the next lesson. Maybe let me just darken some of these lines here so it looks a little bit neater. But that's it. That is lesson 4. I'm just wondering, should we go on to lesson 5 and do the lesson 5 today as well? Or should we leave it at that and do lesson 5 next week? You guys can let me know. I'm just not super happy with the way these boxes over here ended up looking. They look so wonky. I feel like I should have made a better effort to make these just as good as the first one. I thought I don't know why I had seen the lessons, but for some reason I thought that, because in the book, I guess he draws at each step. It looks like you might be drawing more than you actually are, so I thought I was gonna be drawing a lot more than this. So I kind of rushed this part of it, thinking that there's more coming ahead, but there wasn't, so I didn't make as much of an effort as I wish I had. So I'm seeing here what the error was. This line is not straight. It's not, right? Gotta make sure that the lines are straight as possible to give it the effect it needs. Oh, that looks so much better. So much better. Way more square. So that's kind of the importance of following the reference lines to make sure they are as parallel as they can be. So I'm so much happier with how that came out now. Now this one, what do you guys think is the error? I really think it's because the middle line is not longer. Thinking that that's what happened with that. And this line is not, it's not following this line. So this is my reference line. I was supposed to do the exact same thing, and this is going up, right? It's not staying the same angle as this. So I'm thinking that if we do this, we might actually fix this cube over here. It looks much better to me. So here I'm following this line. This one is pretty straight, I think. That's much better. Okay. Could follow that line. Follow those lines. Okay, I think we've definitely improved this by fixing our mistakes. They actually look like cubes now. Much better. And then that one. Again, I think this should have been maybe, because it's not centered properly, but I think this should have been a little longer, just a tiny bit. This one is almost how it needs to be, but this one just stays straight, a little longer. Follow that line. No. Here, there you go. And then we're going to follow this line. This side is harder because of the angle. Better. No. Okay, so this was very important for me to go over. Maybe not as fun to watch on the live stream, but you can't learn if you don't review your mistakes, because then you'll just keep making the same mistakes. And so I clearly made the same mistake with like all of these. I wasn't following my reference lines properly, and so the cube was just not coming out the way it's supposed to. It was wacky. And then they're so much better now. So I'm gonna do a little bit of shading on them too, just to make them look nicer and not like sloppy quick drawings. Okay. Okay. There is our lesson 4. I'm going to turn this around. And then, okay. So, hold on, that is not going to work. Fix this up. There we go. So how are we feeling about lesson 4? I don't know if we should continue on to lesson 5 or if we should stop here. I think an hour is good, but we could do the next lesson. This cube looks different in person and in the camera for some reason. Probably because of the black shading. That's weird. It looks so weird on camera. But it looks so different in person. Anyway, sorry, got distracted. For lesson 5, this is what we would be doing next. We would be doing hollow cubes. So, if you guys are watching and would like to see some more and for me to continue on to lesson 5, maybe do an emoji or comment something, or can you do the thumbs up thing, like the reaction? Does this have a reaction thing? I don't know. But yeah, somehow find a way to let me know. If you guys are interested in me continuing on to lesson 5, we can do that now. If not, we can just end it here and then we can do this next week. I will hopefully, if the power doesn't go out again, I will be live again next Wednesday. I'm supposed to be doing it every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Today was just because yesterday the power went out and I wasn't able to. Our challenge drawing for lesson 5 is going to be a treasure box, so that'll be fun. And then for the following lesson, I think that one will definitely only do lesson 6 on its own. It's called stacking tables. It's a little bit more complex, so that one will definitely have to be just one live stream. Okay, Monster W says continue to lesson 5 if you want. I'm here, but I am just one vote. Okay, yeah, we can go on to lesson 5 because basically lesson 5 is just, we're gonna just continue doing the cubes and then we are going to add just a little bit more to it to kind of draw an open box. I'll show you guys. So we're doing an open box and then the challenge drawing at the end is going to be some treasure box and then have fun with it. So yeah, we'll do it. I'm down for it. I think that even if it takes just another hour, that's 2 hours for the live stream, and that's okay. So we'll do that. One vote is good enough for me if it's just you and I here. So yeah, final look at what we just did. For whatever reason, this looks very different on camera than it does in person. I don't know if it looks wonky to you guys, because when I look at it in the camera, it looks so off. But in person, it doesn't. So I don't know what that's about. Okay, lesson 5 it is. Here we go. Let's readjust our cameras. Okay. Okay. So go on to this one. Just give me a few moments here while just 1 sec. Okay, I apologize for that. Now we can continue. So we're going to do lesson 5. Okay, so of course, because we're going to be doing an open box, we're just going to basically do the same thing that we did over here to start off with our box. So we'll do, so I think we're just going to do that and then the treasure chest. Yeah, so I'm going to do here and here. We'll do the treasure chest down here. So I'll try to make it semi-big here. Okay, so we start out here. Hold on. Maybe just a little bit lower. Here. Don't want to use the ruler just because I want to be as straight as possible. Okay, so we're going to do big box. There we go. And then, how much is it? So, 8, so around here is the middle. Okay, and so we'll do here. And here. Interesting that should have been here. That's looking pretty good, you guys. I'm very excited for it. It's obviously way too big. And so the reference is going to be that. So we'll move that down. Can't be like that. Can't be like that, right? Make sure I keep. I think that's looking good, but I feel like this should be shorter. We'll shorten that. I went from like freehanding and not caring to like being so extremely precise. Okay. Honestly, it's mostly because, why does that feel off? It's mostly because this lesson, no, that's off. This lesson is it's even quicker than the last one, I think, because all it's gonna make us do is do this. We're gonna do the cube, and we're just gonna do the open flap thingies, and then we do the treasure chest. So since we're doing so little, I want to take the time to get it as nice looking as possible. That's better, right? I think it is. I'm not going to darken the lines just yet because we are going to be adding a little bit more to it. And it will require for us to erase some parts of it. So we're going to keep the lines light. Now, how long is this line? It's 3 inches. Okay, yeah, it is. How long is this? It's 4. It's not going to be the same. That's 4 and a little bit. Okay, let's see if this works. Oh, my tummy's making noise. I apologize if you guys can hear that. No, I still think it should go a little bit more up. Why is it not? I'm gonna do a little bit of freehand here. Nope. Nope. Here. That's where we want it. Not the bottom one, that one. Yes. That's the one I want. Okay. Freehanding does kind of work. There we go. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think that this should go up a bit more, shouldn't it? I think this is too long. Am I wrong? Yeah, because this line is 2.5, which means that this one should be just a little bit above, so right here. So let's just redo that real quick. It's just slightly off, but I don't want it to be slightly off. So I'm gonna redo it. Because I can tell that it's slightly off and I do not like that. Okay. Now it's good. Now I think I'm happy with how it's looking. If you guys notice that's maybe off, let me know. I think that's good. So now we're going to do the open box. So the first thing that it tells us to do is we're going to do these lines here. Slant back 2 parallel lines. So we'll do one here and one here. And then we're going to use this line as our reference line and make a line just like this one up over here. So okay. Now we do the same thing on this side. We'll do slanted parallel lines over here. If you want to be like get it as accurate as possible, measuring like I was doing earlier would be ideal. So you have all sides the same. So this is one. Can't see. Hold on, let me turn it. It's not even one inch. Okay. Oh, but that's not. Yeah, see, that's not the same size. You can't completely tell, but if you wanted to be like, oh, I'm not gonna say perfect because there's no such thing as perfect, but as close as perfect you can get it, then measure for sure. Okay, so let's do this line. So this line also has to, this is a reference line, and we gotta make it so that it parallels that line. And just connects it to those, but they're not the same length. So see, that one's off. That one's way off. So we're not gonna keep it like that because you can tell. You can totally tell. I'll just do this real quick with the ruler. I just wanted to be lazy because we're in a live stream. I don't know how long I did that one. I think that one's too long. There. And now we connect them. Just gonna make sure. Hold on a sec. How long is this? Almost 1.5. Okay. Oh, I didn't slant it enough here. Okay. So now we have the open box. I'm going to end it. Ideally, these should be the same size. So this should be meeting it here. It doesn't tell you that on in the book, because he really does it freehand. But if you guys want to get it perfect, then you can do that, so that they are the same size. Okay. Now for the next ones, it's gonna be facing down, so the front ones over here, its slant is gonna go down. So this will go down here, and then this will go down here. And so we're going to need, remember I told you guys to be light with the lines, because we will be erasing stuff. So you can erase that, so that when you connect this, oh, that's so off, you don't see that line there, because this lid is going to be covering it. Same with this side. So you're going to have the line here, and you're going to have the line here, and then you're going to be erasing this here, so that it's not noticeable. Okay. Sort up to here, around here. Okay, so we're gonna, this is a reference line. So there we go. And we'll do the same with this. Our reference line. Making sure that it's close to here. So we've got it, you guys. We've got our open box. So yeah, just make sure, like I told you at the beginning, don't make your lines as harsh, because if you can see, you can kind of still see a little bit of the lines in the back here, and you shouldn't. But we will fix that by adding a little bit of shading, so you can still fix it later on. But ideally, you got to be very light with your pencil at the beginning, so that if you do anything that kind of overlaps on something else and you need to erase the bottom part of it, that you can. So here we have it. This is, my friends, lesson 5. Hopefully you guys learned along with me. And if you do have a ruler, I highly recommend it, because then you can measure things better. You can make sure the lines are the right length. You can connect them better. And it just looks so much more sharp and clean this way. And then, of course, like everything else, once you are done, don't forget to do your shading. This felt like that lid, that was way longer than the other ones. So yeah, once you're done, you can add stuff inside of the box to make it a little bit more fun. Add some details. I don't know, what should we add to this one? And the one in the book, he has, and I don't know what those are called, but those, here, I'll show you guys. He has
these. This is how his ended up looking. But see, he did not measure his stuff, so it's fine. He did a little bit more wonky than I did, and that's okay. Just want my box to look nice. So I'm almost done here. Just want to sharpen those lines a little bit more now that we're done with the overlapping and stuff. Just making it darker so that they stand out a little bit better when we do the shading. Okay. So what can we add in the middle? We can add, I don't know, I'll think about it, and for now we'll do some shading. So obviously our light source is over here. So we're doing the shading this way. Okay. And so we're gonna do a little bit of shading here, like underneath the box. So this is making it even darker. I mean underneath the lids. Do okay, what do we draw? We'll do balls. Let's do spheres the way, since we did those in the last few lessons. It is a box full of balls. Right now I'm just adding a little bit of the shading in between the balls, making it more 3D, giving it more depth, using all those lessons that we learned in the past lessons of the book. So this side will make it a little darker because of the shading. And on this side of the box we'll do a little bit of shading as well, because there's less light hitting it. And there we go. And then this will be a little darker, but not as dark as those spots. Okay, I think that's really nice, you guys. And now we can get to the final part of this lesson, which will be our treasure box. How are we feeling so far? Okay, treasure box time. So, for our treasure box, again, we're going to do the same thing with the whole cube thing. We will start with our 2 dots. Dot here. I'm going to use the ruler too because I want it to look nice. We'll do it here. We'll make it maybe a little bit. Let's center it. Okay, so our center will be around here. And then we'll do the box. No, here. That's too big. Let's do it here. There we go. Oh, shoot. That one's something I get rid of. Maybe it's too small. No, I don't. Okay, let's try again. I just don't want to make it too big because I do want to decorate it. So I want to make it smaller than that, but not too small. Because I want to make it longer and thicker on this side so we can decorate this side of the chest. So we'll do here. middle. I don't know what we'll do here. Okay. So that's the middle. We can do something here. Something. I guess I should measure how big that space is. An inch. So here. Okay. How long is that? Under 2 inches. Same. That's good. Seems like they're measuring up. Right. Okay. Perfect. I think. Perfect enough. So, of course, same thing as the rest of the cube. We'll make sure that it's straight and the reference line is the same as the board. We'll keep this as straight as possible. Make it a 7. Okay. We'll do. Okay, how long is this line? Okay. Okay. It ended up being basically the same size. Well, actually bigger. But I did want this to be bigger here so we can decorate it. How are we feeling? I feel like it should. Is this working? Or should it be more slanted? Because I think it works actually. Just don't want to continue from here if it's not working. Let me measure this. Okay. Okay, that should have been a bit longer. Let me hold up a second. So this one. So it is here. This is the one that's off. I was thinking that's supposed to be higher, not lower. Let's see. No, that's not straight. Hold on. That is not a straight line. That's a straight line. There we go. And then this one will also be a little bit lower. There we go. Okay, so I think we've got it. Okay, now we can go on to the treasure box top part. So what we're going to do is we're going to do all parallel lines like we did before with this, but instead of going up and out, we're going to go in. So I'll do a line. We'll go this way. Up. Perfect. And then same over here. How big are we making that? It's about 1 inch. Okay, and then we do, that's a reference line. We're going to do that same line over onto these. It's off. No, I think that works. Okay, that's why it's off, because it's not even connecting properly here. Okay. Let's just try and connect that. Okay, how big is that? That is this about the same. Okay. So I think that's pretty good. And then we're going to do like go slow with this here. Hold on. Monster WB said, what did Erie? I'm not sure if I'm reading that right or what you meant. And Crafter Fatima Khan said, wow, amazing. Thank you. I'm trying here. Going gentle here. Okay, I think that's good. And then we're basically almost done. After this is just decorating the treasure box. So here we connect it up here. I think there's a little curve though. So we do a little curve. Yeah. How's that looking from your guys' angle? Monster W says Jamaican Rastafarian for great. Oh, okay. Cool. I like. Okay, you guys, this is our treasure box now. You decorate it. You can make it whatever material you want it to be made out of. Add the details, do the shading. So I'm thinking that I'm going to do it out of wood. Which is going to be hard because I'm not great at these other lines. But that's why I want to do it, because I want to practice that, because I was really messing up with the gift wrapping one earlier. So I'm going to challenge myself again. Again, just making the lines sharper before we do any of the shading. And it also, in the book, suggests to add stuff inside of the treasure box. It can be money, jewelry, whatever you want to add to it. I'm thinking I will add the typical money and jewelry stuff in there. The example drawings that the book has are actually kind of neat. Somebody actually decided to draw a picnic basket instead, and instead of having this opening, they have like the flaps of the, you know how like picnic baskets opens on one side and then opens, like it has one opening and then the other side opens. They have like the flaps up like that, and it looks really cool. And then they have the material, like the picnic baskets, like drawn onto it, which is, it's like the threaded thing. Here, I'll show you guys this one. It's easier to, can't show you all of them. This is the student that did it. I thought that was pretty cool. This one's cool too. So yeah, they have different samples, like examples of students doing the drawings and the bonus drawings on there, which I really like, because it gives you other ideas of what you can add, and also makes you notice that not everyone follows the exact same thing in the book. Like that person that did the picnic basket just like took the creative freedom to do something very different while still using the things we learned in this lesson, which I think is really cool. Whereas I am literally just drawing what the book told me to do. But it's cool to see the creativity that can go into it. And there might be another lesson so we can also go a little bit more out and do our own thing. But also just trying to keep it more like drawing the stuff that the book says, because most, if not all of you, don't actually have the book. So I'll just draw the stuff so you guys can see it on here instead of doing my own stuff, so that you guys can also learn. And since we do have, I'm not doing this every single week, there's gonna be days that I do live streams drawing other stuff, like I did last week with the charcoal. So we're still gonna, you know, be creative and do our own thing every once in a while, and we can still use a lot of the lessons that we learn in the book. So there we have it. And to kind of make this inside look like the hollow part of like the open thing, we're gonna do shading mostly on the top and leave it lighter on this side. So we'll start off with up here. Actually, let's do the shading at the end. Let's add what we're gonna add to the inside of the treasure chest first, and then we'll work our way out. So we are going to do money and jewelry. Let's do like one of those cups. Let's do it sideways. It's too straight up. It's got to look a little bit more messy than that, right? So let's do it this way. It's like one of those gold cups. The handle. We'll do maybe some necklace, like pearl necklace situation. A little bit of diamond here. Okay, that's gonna be on. So this is this top stuff. So I'll start with the top and then go down. What else we'll have a block of, okay, remember we have this here too. We'll have a block of gold. We have some blocks there. Then yeah, we'll just make little coins. Dollar sign on them. We'll do some diamonds. What else does a treasure box have, you guys? Okay, we're gonna do maybe like a little bit of like a necklace hanging over. the treasure box here. Okay. And then we'll do some little coins that have fallen on the outside as well. Kind of like using some of the stuff from before. From the spheres lessons. So it's some depth here. So it kind of like it's kind of okay. We've got some stuff. Okay. Okay, so we've got there you go. Now we can do some of the shading. So we'll start off like I was mentioning before. We'll start off making it darker at the top and lighter towards the middle to make it look have kind of that depth. So there would be this here. So we'll make it darker in here as well. Maybe a little lighter here. Okay. Got that, and then darker on the top. And then light here. So not as much on this side. Darker here.
Chew! Excuse me.
Shading the back here. And then I'm gonna shade like a little bit here in the, not the whole side, but just the bottom. Go over it all a little bit just to give it some depth. We'll do a little bit of shading here. Remember that the angle of the shading matters a lot. So it looks like it's sitting down on the ground or a counter or table or whatever. For the final touches, we will, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Do a couple of lines to make it look like it's made out of wood. I don't know, I think I made them. Should I make another one here? Because then this one's going to be thinner than the other ones. Let's just try it out and see. No, I don't know. Doesn't feel right. But then it's too big. Unless we do that. Okay, so go off here. There we go. Honestly, I'm liking how it's turning out, you guys. What do you guys think? I'm liking it. So let's go on to the side. So we'll connect it with this. aligning. Gonna make sure that it aligns with, I'm trying to align it with these here. You guys can see that. So you guys get a better idea of what I'm doing in case you couldn't see before. So I gotta line it up here. Is it lined up? Yes. Oops. Okay. Now we line up this guy. Make sure it's the right angle. That one doesn't look right for whatever reason. I think I'm doing something wrong. Oops. Yeah, there's something off. Do you guys know what it is? Because this is not measuring up. Maybe this one. This one's off. This one's off. I think that if one is off, they're all off. So I've got to be really careful with that. Because some of these, like this one, too much space over here. I'm going to start this one from the bottom and make sure that we have the right amount angled. Now it needs more. It needs to be like, hold on. So it needs to be here. I guess that's another way that you could do it. It's to like do the little dots going up. And then that way you'll line them up and it'll be so much, well, technically so much quicker, but not really quicker. Just, or at least you won't have to erase and redo. I'll do it. What was it? It's all about the same. Kind of. Okay, and then the last one. Like over here. Oh, went down a little. Accidentally went down a little. Okay, but that's so much better, you guys. Okay. It's not perfect, and that is okay. Most of the drawings in the book that I'm seeing from like students and other people, it seems like it's pretty free-handed. It's not done with a ruler. So even if we make tiny mistakes, it's fine because the book is not teaching us how to do it perfectly. I just wanted to have a little bit of fun with it, especially because this lesson, just this is it. It's these two drawings, so I wanted to make sure these two drawings looked pretty cool. And I think they're looking pretty nice, so think the ruler was a good call. But if you guys are doing it, like, you don't need to pressure yourselves like I have. So I'm not gonna make the lines too dark. Maybe just a little bit of shading so it looks like there's a little bit of space between, so you know it's like boards of wood. And so this is kind of like the little holes because where each board attaches to the other one. And then we'll add a little bit of that wood texture onto it. I wasn't planning to do these many boards. I was gonna do the thicker ones, but you guys saw what happened and I ended up adding a lot more. So this is gonna make it take a little longer to finish. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I was gonna make these thicker so it'd be easier to finish this and we could be done quicker. They ended up being really thin. But they look really nice. Okay. We have to do it for the top part. We'll try and do this a little thicker. So, gotta make sure we keep the angle. Well, that's not, no. The first one was way too thin. Okay. Okay. We can deal with that. That's much better. Just making it look a little bit darker here on the edges so it looks like it's kind of, I'll make it thick here too so it looks like it's a little thicker. So that when the treasure chest closes, this is not super, doesn't look like it's super thin. Nice. Now we will do this here. Okay. I'm gonna do a handle here. Crafter Fatima Khan says hello, hello. Thanks for joining us. So, gotta do it this way so it looks like an actual handle.
Paul, welcome. Paul says, looks amazing, Glory. I was watching a bit while I worked today. Oh, thanks for watching. Happy you were able to make it out. We're almost done here. Just basically adding the final touches to our treasure chest.
Hmm. Just trying the little clasp thing. We'll connect down here. Okay. So now we just basically add the texture to the treasure chest, and we'll blend the shading a little bit. This is going to be a little bit more shaded because it's on the other side. Do a little bit of shading here at the bottom of that. A little bit of shading here. And then we'll do more shading down here. now we just basically add, hold on, I'll make it this just a little bit darker. And then we'll add the texture and we are done. Okay, now we add the little texture stuff. Just little lines. There we go. We are finished. So I'll show you guys a little close-up of the piece. To finish off the stream. Okay. Sorry. Well, this was what we did earlier. I didn't really do a close-up of that. What we started off with. Then lesson 5. There we go. So that is it. That's it for today. So we did it. So we did 2 lessons today, which is nice. I wasn't sure if we'd get just the 1 or 2 done for today, but we did 2. We got they were pretty short lessons, so together I think it added up to a good time for a live stream.
I think it turned out pretty good. Obviously, it's not perfect, but we're never really going for perfect. We're just going for learning. And I think we learned. I definitely learned a lot. And I did have fun doing the treasure box. I actually really liked how this box turned out to be. Obviously, I struggled with the beginning stuff, but the whole point of this lesson was just to kind of learn how to do that. And obviously, I learned that it just looks so much better with the ruler. So I gotta start using my ruler a lot more when it comes to drawing. It's a big lesson for me today. I'll tell you that. Monster WB says, "What fun." I am glad you stuck around for the whole thing. So thanks for pushing me to do lesson 5. That was it's good encouragement because I was kind of thinking I might leave it at that. But if I would have left it with just this lesson, I wouldn't have been very happy with just what I did today. Because obviously we took what we learned in lesson 4 and applied it to lesson 5. And I am very, very happy and satisfied with the work we did, thanks to lesson 4 and 5 together. So yeah, so thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this journey of like learning how to draw together. I think it's a lot more fun to do it together. I don't know if anyone's actually doing this at home with me or if you guys are just watching, but even just watching you can learn. I feel I've learned a lot of what I know in art by watching a lot of YouTubers, a lot of art YouTubers. And so hopefully maybe you can learn by watching what I'm doing. You can learn from the mistakes that I'm making. You can learn from the lessons that I am learning and taking away from this. So either way, whether you're following along, just watching, or you're actually doing the work with me, hopefully you're enjoying this and you're getting to learn a lot as well. So for next week, so we'll do a little quick review what we've done. So we've got lesson 1 and 2. We've got lesson 3. That's the funnest one so far, I think. We've got lesson 4 and then lesson 5 done. So we're up to a great start. And I'll just give you guys a little preview of what our next lesson is going to be. So our next one is going to be lesson 6. And that one's going to be the stacking table. So we're going to basically, it's still, we're using the cube lessons that we learned in the past one and just stacking the way we did with the spheres. And it's gonna want us to do some elaborate stacking thing at the end, so the bonus thing is gonna be something like that. And the samples, like student samples or something like that. So it's gonna be longer. So for the next one, for sure, I'm only just gonna do the one lesson. So it's gonna be lesson 6 for the next live stream. I'm not going to be do 2 because that one lesson is definitely going to take a lot longer than each lesson took today. So I think that's it. I don't know if I have anything else to add except that if you haven't signed up for Reflect and Create, I do host monthly events on Zoom. So it's not a live stream, but it is live. It's on Zoom and it's free and anybody can join. So if you guys want a community that you can hang out with and come and like play around with the arts, you can come and hang out with us. And we do a different topic every month. So it's always different and you're never required to participate. So you don't have to participate. So yeah, you're welcome to join us on April 26th, I believe is the one for this month. Our topic is finding a challenge, and you can find the form in the description below to sign up if you want to do that. If you want to contribute so that I can continue to do all the stuff that I do for free, you can definitely donate. I'm always accepting donations and I'm super appreciative of it. We have quite a few people on Patreon that are signed up every month for $5 a month, and that also contributes towards that so I can continue to do the stuff for free, which is awesome. So thank you to our donors and to everybody that has donated, to everyone that's on Patreon and that donates on a monthly basis, because it's thanks to them that I can do all of this stuff for people that cannot pay. So they're just paying it forward. So if you are someone that can pay it forward, please pay it forward. If not, you just join. No worries. There's no pressure in paying anything. So yeah, and Paul says, um, I highly recommend Reflect and Create. Thank you, Paul. Paul's actually one of our donors, and he's our Patreon member as well as Monster WB. He's one of the biggest donors in Reflect and Create. So thank you guys for also joining me on here. It's fun to get to do more stuff aside from just the Reflect and Create hangouts. But we'll see where this journey takes us. So I think that's it. I think that's it for today. I am excited for next week. Next week it's going to be on Wednesday. If nothing happens, I will obviously keep people posted. But Wednesday at 2 p.m. PT is the time that I'm usually going live on YouTube. So if you want to join me, I'll be doing another lesson from the drawing book. And then the following week, I will be doing, I don't know what I'll be doing, but I'll be doing some other artistic thing. I don't know if I'll do charcoal or just kind of change it up and maybe do a painting or something. And what else? The last thing would be that if everything goes according to plan on April 12th, yes, 12th, I'm going to be doing another live stream. So it's not going to be an art live stream, but I'm going to be doing a kitchen live stream where I'm going to be with my mom and my brother in the kitchen making a dessert. The dessert is a secret. Nobody knows what it is yet. So stay tuned for that. I'll be going live, I think, around 1 p.m., 2 p.m. latest. Saturday is a little bit more go with the flow kind of thing. So yeah, April 12th on a Saturday in the afternoon around 1 or 2 p.m. PT is the time that I'll be going live with my mom and with my brother. And those are usually pretty exciting and fun. I've done like game board nights with them in the past, and the last one that we did was our lasagna day, and that was really fun. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. You guys are welcome to join me, and if you haven't followed me or you want to keep updated to all the stuff, you can sign up to my email list, or you can follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on Patreon, and all of the things. I believe it's all in the description. So I think that's it. If you guys have any last things to say before I head out here, feel free to do so. Other than that, I think, yeah, I think we're done. We're done for today. So thanks for being here. Thanks for giving me some company and making this a lot more fun. See you soon, Monster WB. Bye, Paul. Bye, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and have a great rest of your day. And that's